Hey YouTube world, what's going on? Mark here from TST Industries, back in the garage. And in today's video, I will be guiding you through the installation process of our all new TST frame sliders for the 2023 Suzuki GSX-8S. This is a brand new bike from Suzuki, as you already know. If you haven't already, be sure to check out our first ride review. This is a 2-point frame slider system, not a single point frame slider system. And this system is completely bolt right on, no modifications needed to your bike, to fairings, to any existing hardware on your motorcycle. This frame slider kit is symmetrical and mirrored side to side, so you don't have to worry about mixing up bolt sizes, spacers, or brackets. As long as you identify the left and the right side bracket and pucks, you are all good to go. And the pucks are CNC machined delrin sliders. This process is pretty straightforward, so let's go ahead and dive right in. Now, to begin this installation process, we do want to identify the contents in the kit. Easy way to do that is start off with grabbing the frame slider pucks. On the frame slider puck, there's a part number, and the identifier on this we are looking for is 10382-R or -L. R and L signify what side of the bike they're going on. Once you do that, we know this side is the right side, we can go ahead and grab the bracket that corresponds with the puck. As you can see here, we designed them and manufacture them in a way that they fit seamlessly. So that's a really good way to identify it. If you're still having issues, you can go ahead and grab the bracket, and with the smaller hole located at the top, pointing and superimposed over this mounting hole, you should see that the surface of this fairing shroud is almost parallel with the surface of the bracket. That is the right side bracket, the other side is mirrored on the left side. Now, we do have a smaller and larger spacer mounted in these locations respectively, and the bolts match along with that. The two smallest bolts in the kit are to secure the frame slider puck to the bracket. Now let's go ahead and jump right in and begin this installation process. We will first need to go ahead and remove the OEM engine bolt located on the lower portion of this frame component. Now, a thing to note, if this is your first time installing frame sliders, you do want to make sure your bike is suspended in a vertical orientation, perpendicular to the ground. If it is on the kickstand or leaned over, it can tweak a little bit, and then your mounting holes will be off by a few millimeters. Another thing to note, you do not want to remove both sides of the engine mounting bolts at the same time. Your engine will sag, and then you'll have much bigger issues. With that bolt out, we can go ahead and begin the process. We will first grab our bracket and the larger spacer, along with the larger zinc-plated bolt, and feed the bolt through the bracket, through the spacer, and then by hand, we are going to hand thread, ensuring we are not cross-threading, causing any other damage. Once you get a few turns in, we can stop, grab the smaller of the two spacers and the medium-sized bolt, and again, feeding the bolt through the bracket and then through the spacer into the frame component, and again, by hand. You want to catch a few threads. If you need to use a tool because you've got big thumbs, you can go ahead and use a 6mm T-handle hex key. And again, just very slowly, you want to ensure that you are not cross-threading. For the larger bolt, we are going to use a 10mm hex key, and we're going to go all the way until we bottom out by hand. And you want to go little by little at a time, ensuring that everything is sitting on the correct plane and is not being tweaked in any direction. Very happy with that. And now we can go ahead and grab our torque wrench and torque it down to the appropriate specs. And there you are. Now at this point, you can go ahead, and you should go ahead, and install the frame slider puck onto the bracket. Now this is a soft delrin material, so you really don't need to go too heavy on the torque. A safe bet for delrin is usually about 10 foot-pounds. For most people, you will hand tighten beyond that. Again, by hand, ensure you're not bottoming out. Now we can go ahead and hop on over to the other side of the bike and repeat this process. Now coming to the left side of the bike, we will repeat the same exact steps. However, there is one small thing to note. Behind this bolt, in between this frame brace and the motor, there's a washer. You will need to reuse that. So as you're removing the bolt, don't be surprised if the washer falls, or as you're removing the bolt, you may see the washer spin. We will be reusing that washer. This is the washer I'm referring to. So let's go ahead and begin the reinstallation process, or the installation process of our frame sliders. Same orientation, smaller bolt hole on the top, larger one at the bottom, this face parallel with that surface. All right, with those bolts bottomed out, let's go ahead and grab our torque wrench. All right, now we can grab our frame slider puck and the bolts, tighten to 10 foot-pounds. And just like that, this installation is now complete. And now your bike is ready for the road. As you can see, aesthetically, it is pleasing. We have gone ahead, added in an all black frame slider kit with some sharp angles and curves to help mimic some of the geometry that is found on this beautiful Suzuki GSX-8S. Now, more importantly, we have added some functionality, and now we have crash protection. Now it is important to note, this is crash protection. It is not a crash deterrent. Every crash is different, every drop is different. Crash protection, specifically frame sliders, are designed to help minimize the damage taken on by your bike in the event of a crash or a drop. But this will not prevent you from crashing, and it will not prevent your bike from flipping over. So please keep that in mind as you are shopping for frame sliders and any crash protection. The best crash protection out there, don't crash. If you like these frame sliders, you're interested in purchasing them, please be sure to stop by our website, tstindustries.com. The link to this exact kit can be found in the description below. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, you just want to check in and say hey, let us know where you're watching from, do so in the comments below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn the notification bell on. And lastly, feel free to stop by our social media pages, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all username TST Industries. For now, this has been Mark in the TST Garage, and we will catch you next time.